All right, welcome to Gun Talk Nation. This is the remote version of the podcast. We've got Mr. Kevin Jarnagin with us. We've got Mr. Chris Cerino as our guest today. Chris is in his bunker lair, obviously. We're all separate. We can't catch it through Zoom, so we thought we'd do a little content and a little BSing and put some stuff out. So today, Gun Talk Nation is brought to you by the coronavirus.
The beer bug. It's the beer bug.
The beer bug. You can't say the words. Apparently that's
I'm going to say COVID-19, all that stuff. It's the beer bug.
Beer bug.
Today is brought to you by Kung Flu.
Kung Flu. That's right. So, Chris,
what have you been up to?
Well, I've been home for about 2 weeks now. I was down in Florida when all this was starting to get kicked off. I was down there. I went hog hunting and alligator hunting, and then I was going to stay with my parents for like 3 days. And I ended up staying a week because, you know, they're getting older, and I feel I had to do some work down there. So I came home apparently just in time because stuff started getting weird. And we were supposed to be out on the road for 3 conferences right now. You know, the NRA's canceled, plus I canceled a class in Tennessee, a class in Colorado. I mean, but I'm writing, doing my thing.
Yeah. So we've all got guns in our hands. I've got a blue gun, kind of a blue gun. It's a laser trainer gun.
Oh, a second. Wait, I want to hear how that alligator hunt went. Did you shoot one?
Oh yeah, I shot a small one, about 7 foot, because you pay by the foot. I caught a 12-footer. You snatch hook them, and you bring them in, and then you kill them. We caught a 12-footer, and it was crazy.
Did you? Now I saw a little bit of some of that footage. So you're talking 12-footer. That's what? How about 800 pounds, something like that?
I don't know, but it's $8,000. I know that it wasn't going to get killed by me.
What was that like pulling in a 12-footer?
Honestly, it yanked me off my feet. I finally got to where I could sit down with the rod and work it. But my buddy had to hold around me, and he wrapped his legs around me, and he was holding me back, and I was reeling because it would yank you right off the bank.
That's the last place you want to be, is in the water with a pissed-off alligator.
Oh, man. I mean, it almost took us clean in, so then we switched off once or twice, and then we finally put 2 hooks into them, and both of us were working with rods. And it was so big, we couldn't get him up the bank with the 4-wheeler. We lassoed his muzzle,
Yeah.
And the 4-wheeler wouldn't even move him up the bank. I mean, he was massive. But it was a treat, and I did get to shoot a 7-footer, and I got a bunch of meat in my freezer. I haven't eaten any yet, nice. But I did. I'm ready. I just right now, with all this going on, I'm trying to eat stuff that's not frozen.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Eat the fresh stuff first. What gun did you guys use for alligator?
I took my Springfield 10mm with the Trigicon RMR on it. You could use anything you want. I mean, really, you could probably use a 22, but I didn't know what to expect. All I knew is somebody asked me to go, so I went, and it was interesting. So as soon as you get them up, you kind of get them, and they, I don't remember how we kept them there. Somebody took the rod and held him while he was wriggling. Looked just like Gator Boys or whatever that's called.
Right.
As soon as you get a shot, you're like, oh, wham!
You try to brain shoot him, right?
Well, you shoot him right behind the skull because I wanted to keep his head. I don't have an alligator head in my house, so I got to have one.
So red dot's got to be really helpful for that.
Dude, you aren't kidding. Can you imagine trying to line up those black things on top of a black alligator in the water and it's moving all over the place?
Exactly.
Would have been easier with the laser. Crimson Trace laser would make it easier, right?
Yes. That would make it a lot easier. But Trigicon ought to start sponsoring these people.
A green one. So Chris, we're hearing a lot about people are buying guns, buying ammo. And, you know, some of the conversations I've had this week are, you know, people are saying, but really, what do you, my question is, what do you think about this? People who are buying guns are newbie gun buyers because the gun enthusiasts already have pistols and ARs and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't like guns in my house. They're dangerous. I wouldn't, I'm not ready to do that. I prefer a brick, you know, maybe a heavy flashlight. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, do you think it's newbies buying the guns?
Oh my God, so many. When I went, well, a lady friend of mine called me up Saturday, okay? You want to hear?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She calls me Saturday. She says, Chris, I think I need a gun. And I said, you don't have any? And she says, yeah, I think we need one in the house. So she wanted me to meet her at the gun store. The one gun store wouldn't sell it to her. Said, you got to have a permit and blah, 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 which is crap. I mean, you can buy anything you want. So I said, meet me down here. I took her to the place that I do the videos for once in a while and post pictures. It was shoulder to shoulder. And the people that were in there, which was surprising me because there was a bunch of burly men and like hillbilly looking folk, you know, Americans.
Okay.
And there was all these people that looked like they came in a Saab, you know, or something, and they've never owned a gun. So it was like, why are these dudes here in this? But anyways, I got her. I would have got her a 22, but the 22s were all gone. So I got her an LCR 38.
Yeah.
No safety, no nothing, original point click technology.
Yeah.
Gave her a once over with it because if it makes her feel good. But the thing she said to me, here's an important thing, Ryan. I think you'll like this. You won't like it, but you'll have some follow-up. She said to me, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. And Michelle was listening. I had her on speakerphone, you know, Michelle was listening. She goes, I don't know, I just feel like I should have one in there because like if somebody comes in, at least, you know, like I could shoot around into the ceiling or something.
Oh, geez.
Warning shot?
Well, Michelle lost.
Fire warning shot.
You know how
No, we're not doing warning shots.
Yeah, you know how we feel about warning shots. We've proven that in first-person offender. Like the laser itself may be a deterrent, but it's not going to be.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, maybe you shouldn't have a gun, you know, blah, blah, blah. This was before. And then she said, well, let me think about it. And, you know, blah, blah, blah. So she called me back and we talked a little more. And I said, listen, you can't have a gun if that's what you're going to do. I'm not going to take you. And she was like, okay, I get it. I understand. You can't, no warning shots. I said, it's original point and click technology. You point it at the bad guy, you pull the trigger. And, you know, hopefully you hit them because you're going to be in your house.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, you know, quite often the presence of a gun is going to be enough anyways, but you're certainly not going to crank off a warning shot because that means, hey, I'm not ready to kill you, so here's your chance.
Right. Absolutely. Start shooting the ceiling. What's a bad guy going to do? He's going to bum rush you.
One thing that blows my mind about this is that you're sitting here talking to a lady who obviously needs training, obviously. And how many of these people are buying guns right now that are just like, hey, someone comes in my house, I've got a right to shoot. I'm done. No training needed.
I think it's an important thing for us as a gun community, gun communicators to try to get the word out about like, okay, look, I don't mind first-time gun buyers buying guns. We want that. That's good.
Right.
We want you to get involved. We want you to do it the right way. The problem is they can't go take a training course right now. That's not possible.
What's the right way, though? What's the right way? How do we get involved the right way? Think about all the way back to when guns were made and guns became something that people had in their houses. What's the right way? I mean, I guess sooner or later you just have them and you use them.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the perfect way would be for them to take some sort of training course at the very, very least, like 1 hour with someone at a range to show them how to load, unload, fire the gun at minimum.
I did that with a fella last week during the week. A guy called me, one of the guys from one of the local schools. He said, man, I always thought I wanted a gun. Now I feel like I need one. My wife said to go get one. So he went and he got a gun. And he said, man, I got this gun and I know you're who you are. So I'm calling you. He said, I'm afraid to even load this thing in my house. I don't know what to do. Well, he bought a semi-auto, which is a little different than having a revolver with his load, point, and press. So I took him out, and in 2 hours, he felt very comfortable. He knew he needed training. He knew what to do with the gun. He wasn't afraid to load it, wasn't afraid to shoot it, knew exactly what it felt like, what it sounded like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So in 2 hours, I got him to a point where he's probably going to be able to defend himself in his home and his family.
So what's the advice if, there's all these people listening to Gun Talk Nation, and most of the people listening are gun enthusiasts. They're pretty knowledgeable gun people. So if they are that gun friend that everyone's calling, dude, I need to get a gun, or I just bought a gun, what do I do? I mean, you can't go over to the house. You can't go to the range to show them perhaps because everybody's staying at their houses. But, I mean, what would your advice be if somebody says, what do I do here?
Well, honestly, there's not a lot we can do. These people are buying them. The problem is the people that I saw were clearly neophytes, where the guys were behind the counter showing them semi-autos and saying, yep, well, you stick this in there and you pull this and you're ready to go.
Right.
That's a problem. People that went out and bought a revolver because they were smarter or maybe something, I mean, think about point and click technology. There really was nothing easier. Back in the days when we didn't have a lot of training, that was a good gun to have in the house. Everybody's daddy had one in the nightstand.
Right.
At least they know this is the dangerous end. This is where the bullets come out, and you load it and you do it. But man, these people that are buying semi-autos and different things, and I mean, and somebody's out there going, yeah, I got to have that sweet 1911 because my buddy told me that I should have a 1911. They're really easy to shoot.
Right.
I mean, these people, there's a lot of people that are afraid to put a round in the chamber. Right. And are they going to have the presence of mind to work that thing? Are they going to have the presence of mind to understand the condition that it's in? Hammers back, hammers down. This gun doesn't even have a decock on it. You got to do it the old school way. Put your thumb in there, press the trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to know about guns. The best thing we can do as forward-thinking, more than gun enthusiasts, as professionals, us, I would say, is to steer people towards something that they'd be able to use, something that they're simple to use. My kids have both had, since they were 11 and 12, they've had 22 9-shot revolvers in their bedroom loaded because they live upstairs, we live downstairs, and if something happened to us, they'd be, defenseless upstairs.
Yeah.
They always knew that this was dangerous. This is the dangerous end. Point it in the direction you want that thing to go and press the trigger. I mean, that's the very least we can do is try to be pragmatic in our approach and not steer towards, well, I carry a Glock because my buddy, he's a cop and he told me to buy a Glock. That's fine. It's a great gun. It's perfect. But for someone that's never touched a gun and shot a gun and is not likely to be able to get any training anytime soon, what do we do?
Right. I mean, for most people, you say, if you're not going to spend a little time getting some education and learning, we'd rather you not have a gun. But, in certain cases, go ahead. If worse comes to worse and you say, grandma needs a gun, absolutely. Right. Let's just figure out a way to get her ready to go. There you go. Right.
That's it. That's what you need. You need a revolver.
How to load it and unload it, and all you have to do is pull the trigger. Don't shoot it single action, by the way. Let me just chime in on a revolver. Don't shoot it single action.
Yeah, well, but if you want to, you can. If you have time to, you can. Yeah. But just remember that you could have an accidental discharge. Once it gets cocked, it's kind of easy to shoot it.
Yeah, it's no pressure at all.
But, I love the new hammerless. Listen, I carry a 442 Smith & Wesson on my ankle at work. You know why? Because it's not likely to malfunction. It's going to go bang when I pull the trigger, and if it doesn't, I pull the trigger again. I don't have to have two hands to work it because chances are if I go to that gun, I'm in a bad place anyways.
Yeah.
using maybe my wrong hand, maybe using one hand, maybe, I'm slippery, whatever, bloody, dirty, down in the dirt. And if that's what that's designed for, if it's designed for that, isn't that kind of who we're talking about? People that are already at a disadvantage.
Yes.
Yet you got people that poo-poo revolvers, and I tell you, I picked the LCR for that lady this weekend because the trigger is light.
I'm a fan of the LCR. Big fan of it. I've got a 1 in 22. That's kind of cool. It's my little snake in the backyard. Got, in 38, I got one in 9. And they make it in all the varieties. But the trigger on that gun is great. It's a lightweight gun if you're going to carry it. It's super lightweight. I think it's in the polymer frame on the top. Yeah, I mean, so
I've got 2 of them in 22 upstairs. I got one in my bedroom and I got one in the living room because it can stay loaded forever. There's no spring tension. There's no crap. Every once in a while, I take them out and I clean them. But I mean, anybody in my house can pick it up, point it in the direction that needs to go, and just work the trigger. And I challenge you, as a bad guy, have you ever shot a 22 pistol without ears?
Oh yeah.
It's like shooting anything else without ears.
Yes.
It's freaking loud.
Yeah.
You don't know it's a 22. They don't care it's a 22. All they know is there's a gun going off in their direction. And if you're hitting them, I guarantee you're feeling that.
Yeah.
No one wants to get shot with anything.
Better than nothing, for sure.
Right.
It's better.
Right. And there's 9 in there. That's a lot. Hell, even this big behemoth only holds 6.
Yeah. And if for the newbie that's going to miss 50% of the shots anyway.
Right. And if I torch this off in my house, it's going to be really, really freaking loud. It's going to recoil. I'm going to have a harder time getting back on target. I'm going to be shell-shocked at the fact that it's happening. Then I'm going to be shell-shocked by the sound of it. I'm going to be shell-shocked by the recoil that I'm feeling from it. How am I going to finish the job?
Yeah, and what we're really talking about is I don't think we're saying, a 22 revolver is the answer for self-defense in general, but it's just in a pinch with these new buyers that are not getting training, they don't have time, or they just can't get out because they're on lockdown or whatever. It's an option.
Brother, I'm here to tell you that I looked at that new light rack Ruger 22 now, that's 10-shot Ruger, and I carried an LCP 380 on my leg before I switched over to the revolver. I only switched to the revolver a little while ago only because the holster's better. I can get a better hand on the gun. But I tell you what, I carried a 22 on my ankle for 10 years of police work.
Really?
What's the best gun to have in a gunfight?
Just any gun.
One that works.
A gun. And I carried a 22 on my leg for years. And that was before that I carried a 25, and I'd rather have a 22 than a 25. 22's at least got more power. I mean, you know what?
25 ACP is a real anemic round. I mean, I got a story of a guy the story is actually, the guy was going through a divorce. Divorces get weird and ugly. And his wife was, I guess, they're having an argument, a fight, and she went out to leave, and he tried to shoot out her tires with a 25, and it bounced off the steel radial tires.
Yeah.
He got in big trouble for that.
There's not really any defensive ammo available for the 25. And honestly, I'd rather have 10 shots of 22 than 6 shots of 380.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some great 380 ammo out there right now. Don't get me wrong. There's some really good stuff. I mean, it's really.
I'm telling you, now the 380 Easy Shield, I like that gun. I bought one because it's just a shooter. Now it's still it has a thumb safety. There's things as far as the complete newbie I wouldn't maybe recommend, perhaps, unless you got to get some training. But I like kind of a mid-size 380 gun.
Well, I have the EZ9 in the closet over there. I could tell you this, that if somebody has in their house like a Ruger or a Smith & Wesson Victory or an old Colt Woodsman or something like that, and they're used to shooting that with their daddy back when they were kids, and they never had a gun, but they've shot that and experienced that, they could probably transition to the 9mm EZ or the 380 EZ, because it's really the same damn thing. It's just different bullets.
Right.
You know, the Smith & Wesson 22s, I got like 10 of those. I use them. We're training all the time. If you understand how to work that, you can work the 9EZ, the 380EZ. But if you've never had a gun, these are the people we're talking about right now. If you've never had a gun, man, I have a hard time. I could not work the gun counter, because I couldn't sell it to somebody that's never had a gun and in good conscience and say, look at little lady, look at fella, you just load this up and you're good to go, man. Just stick it in your drawer. What happens when it doesn't fire the second shot?
Yeah.
I guess at this point you're buying whatever ammo you can find, but buy good ammo if you can. And even if it's 22s, get, probably a hollow point, some high velocity stuff.
I have Stingers in mine.
Yeah.
Really?
They're like 30 some grains, wicked fast, a little bit of a hollow point. That's what it's for. A 22 Magnum's great too. 22 Magnum plus all the new great ammo that's out. Hornady makes some great ammo. In 22 Mag. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there, but oh man, what a conundrum. Yeah, that's a hell of a question you've brought up.
Well, and also, frankly, believe it or not, we're like out of time because we gotta cut it off. But
Excellent.
I
got cleaning to do, man.
Yeah, I can't solve all the world's problems. We'll tackle that problem, and then next week we'll tackle another one.
Hey, that was great. I'm glad it went fast like that. I really, I'd love to get back to my cleaning, but it's good to see you guys. And I don't know if you know what I've been FaceTiming people and putting it on Facebook, and I call it Quarantine Cocktails with Chris in the evening. And we sit and we talk, and because we can't see people, we might as well see them.
Come to my bar.
Yeah. Ryan's got a full bar. We're gonna go over there next.
All right. Thanks for being on, man.
All right. See you guys.
We'll see you guys next time on Gun Talk Nation.